You know, we're all told the same story, that markets are about numbers, charts, and data. But today, we're going to tear that down. We're going to deconstruct what they're really about. And that, my friends, is power.
Okay, and let's be crystal clear right from the start. This is not some tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. Not at all. This is the structural reality of the environment you're trading in. It is the game.
So it all comes down to this one fundamental question, right? Why do most traders lose money? And look, it's probably not because their strategies are junk or their indicators are wrong. That's not the real reason. The reason they lose is because they fundamentally misread the game they're in. They're treating what is essentially a psychological battlefield as if it's some kind of sterile, neutral laboratory for price discovery. And that's a fatal mistake.
All right, let's get into our core thesis here. We have to start with one foundational idea. The market is not a calculator. It is a persuasion system.
So what on earth does that even mean, a persuasion system? Well, it means that price doesn't just move. It is moved. It's pushed and pulled by participants who are actively influencing each other's beliefs and actions, and they do it through some very, very carefully engineered mechanisms. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how exactly is this influence exerted? Let's break down the actual tools of the trade. We're going to look at some psychological principles, many drawn from Cialdini's work, that are literally weaponized in the markets every single day.
All right, the first and arguably the most powerful mechanism is authority. This is the big one. This is how they manufacture your consent. It's all about the perceived credibility of those big institutions, the well-known analysts, the macro narratives, the stories that condition what you believe, and more importantly, compel you to act, often without you even stopping to question the evidence.
And this image of Galileo is a perfect illustration of how this works. See, Galileo didn't just announce his discovery. He was smart. He aligned it with the power of the Medici family, making them shine. In the exact same way, institutions today leverage their status to make their market narrative seem, well, cosmic, inevitable, like a law of physics. They're not just giving you data. They're anchoring their story to an unshakable image of power. All right, let's build on that with the second mechanism, social proof. You know this one well. This is the engine of FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's a weapon that targets your natural tendency to think, hey, if everyone's doing it, it must be right. And it's engineered with things like huge volume spikes, crazy breakouts, and screaming headlines, all designed to create participation traps.
And P.T. Barnum here, he understood this perfectly. He knew that the main goal was just to attract attention. It didn't matter if it was good or bad attention. So when you see a sudden market spectacle, a shocking price move that comes out of nowhere, it's designed to do just one thing: grab your attention and engineer a very specific response from you. The spectacle is the point.
And believe me, the toolkit is deep. You've got scarcity, which is urgency created through volatility and news. You've got commitment and consistency, that irrational little voice that tells you to stay in a losing trade. And then there's reciprocity, all those free signals and newsletters that make you feel like you owe them something. Look, these are not just abstract ideas from a psychology textbook. They are literally embedded into chart structures and news events to force your hand. Okay, so all of this brings us to a really crucial reframing, a different way of looking at the chart itself. We have to stop seeing price action as just a bunch of technical patterns. We have to start seeing it for what it is, a raw, unfiltered negotiation for power. So check this out, because this is the whole game right here. There are two ways to read a chart. The crowd, the retail trader, sees technical patterns, indicators, support, and resistance. But the professional, they're reading something totally different. They see intent, they see pressure, they see leverage. So that bullish breakout that everyone gets excited about, the professional sees an invitation into liquidity. What's that? It's a trap. It's an engineered move to get you to buy so the big players can sell. It's a negotiation between those providing liquidity and those being forced to take it. And that means all those stop hunts, those crazy volatility spikes, those fake breakouts. That's not just random market noise. No way. These are psychological pressure tools. Think of them like tactics in a high-stakes hostage negotiation, designed to force you to make a decision under manufactured artificial urgency. So, underpinning all of these mechanisms are some fundamental laws of power. We're talking about the kinds of laws Robert Greene wrote about, and they absolutely govern the market structure from the top all the way down.
Let's take Law 3, conceal your intentions.
You have to understand, smart money does not telegraph its moves. It's not going to tell you what it's doing. Instead, it uses all those familiar patterns and predictable news events as a smokescreen. It's a bland exterior to hide what's really going on, which is quiet accumulation or distribution.
Or how about Law 28, enter action with boldness? Have you ever wondered why markets seem designed to create the absolute maximum amount of uncertainty? It's to infect your execution with doubt and hesitation. This is an environment that punishes transparency and hugely rewards ambiguity.
Now, why does all this stuff work so well? Why are these tactics so effective? It's because the structural power of the market perfectly amplifies the built-in cognitive biases that we all have as traders.
You know, as traders, we're uniquely vulnerable targets. For one, trading links financial risk directly to our sense of self-worth, which is a dangerous combination. Then there's the sunk cost fallacy, that thing that makes it so hard to just cut a losing position. And maybe most importantly, our deep, deep search for certainty in a chaotic world makes us incredibly predictable. And I want to be clear, these are not personal failings. They are predictable human responses that the entire system is designed to exploit.
Okay, so hearing all this, the goal isn't to make you paranoid. It's not about seeing a conspiracy behind every tick. It's about shifting your entire operational stance. It's about moving from being a reactive participant to becoming a detached strategic observer.
So how do you do that? Well, you have to learn to reread the map. You start by asking, what's the story being sold right now? Who is being trapped? Who is being forced to act against their will? Where is the urgency being manufactured? And once you see that, you align yourself with that structural force. See, the goal isn't to predict the future. It's to accurately recognize the influence being exerted right here, right now. And this means your primary objective has to change. It's not prediction, it's non-compliance. Active non-compliance with the manipulation. It means learning to see the difference between a genuine opportunity and an invitation to become someone else's exit liquidity.
Which brings us back to the ultimate reframing. This is the whole point. Charts are not technical drawings. They are power maps. They are a visual record showing you exactly where pressure is being applied, where other traders are trapped, and, crucially, where the real intent is being hidden.
So the most important takeaway from all of this is a fundamental shift in the question you ask yourself every time you look at a chart. You have to stop asking, where will price go? That's the retail question. Instead, you need to start asking, who is being influenced to act right here and why? That is the question. And making that shift is what separates the victim from the strategist in this incredibly unforgiving game.